another episode of You Don't Know Squatch.
This is Jim and Josh, and we got some fun stuff to talk about today.
What do you got going? What you got cooking?
Well, this is some updates on some of our research here in Bailey, or near Bailey, and I've got some interesting things that have happened at one of our gifting sites I want to talk about, and then I just got sent a sound file from my buddy Jesse, who is a fellow Squatcher and has a bunch of stuff happening near his house. And he sent us a recording he just made that I thought we'd listen to and talk about.
All right. It's so interesting you're going to head out there kind of thing? Or?
I'm going to head out there probably in one of the coming evenings, try to see what happens around dusk, and then after dark, go do a little hiking and get into the creepy side of Bigfoot research.
All right. So I guess now it's time for Notes from the Field?
There you go.
All right. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this real quick.
So this is the sound file. So he's recording this behind his trailer that he's living in temporarily in the property that backs up to a big area of national forest off of Roland Valley Road.
Okay. So here locally, you're pretty close.
Local, yeah. So give it just a second here.
And that's him saying, oh, that's weird.
Yeah. There's 3. Can you back that up just a second? Let's listen to that again. And
Let me,
in fact, increase the volume a little bit. Back it up one more time.
Wow, that
just
was...
before that. Okay, now let's just pause it for a second. So, what could that be? So,
a cow, maybe
see,
a
it
moose?
could be a cow, but I've never heard a cow sound exactly like that. Now, we are in the rut. Moose and elk are both in rut, but again, one of our listeners may hear this and say, oh yeah, that's a whatever.
And if you do, be sure to put that in the comments, please.
Put that in the comments. But it doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard an elk utter.
I don't know,
and it could be a moose, but it's a...
like a baby cow, like a calf. A little.
Well, but it sounds bigger than that. I mean, it's... and it's... You can hear it echo.
Let me go back just one more time.
And turn it up even higher if you would.
Alright, so it's coming up there. Sorry for the bass, guys. Yeah, man.
Could be a cow, but I don't think there's any cows back behind. It's just forest. And I just wrote him and asked him, are there any cows that you've ever seen back in those woods? And if he says yes, then yeah, you got to take that into consideration. But this sounds...
And a mountain lion sounds like a baby, right?
Yeah, and then like a little bit further on in this file, there's a bunch of dogs barking, and you hear the same thing, but it makes a different kind of sound.
Let me just keep playing it while we're talking, and when we get there, I can see it, and we'll get back
if
to
you
it.
can see... Did I send you the graphic file so you can see, or...
No, it's just the audio of...
Okay.
Man, that's weird.
Let's see what it does up here. You hear the dogs barking in response to this, I think. And I think he recorded this on his...
Is there traffic close by?
Yeah, Roland Valley Road's not very far away. But I think he recorded this audio from his iPhone or his Android. When you hear the dogs bark.
There you go.
Okay.
sounds almost like a donkey.
So
She says
his
it sounds
girlfriend
like a
says
donkey.
it sounds like a donkey,
But
but
not.
not.
No. Heard it again.
What do you even make that
Oh.
much noise?
She says, "What do you think would make that noise?" He goes, "Bigfoot."
I gotta wear like.
So
A
I don't know
dark
what
shirt
she's
or a
talking
light
about there
shirt.
when he's talking about
All right.
shirts and stuff. So
Man, that's crazy.
yeah, let's just play that first one more time. The one that was the clearer, closer.
Because it
Sounds.
sounded like a plane started coming over
Yeah.
that the other time.
I don't know. If there's no cows back there, if nobody's having their cattle ranged back in there, that eliminates that possibility. And I don't know if moose, I've never heard a moose make a sound like that. They could, it's possible, but let me just see if my buddy replied to my question about it.
I mean, it's interesting that she said donkey, though, because we do have quite a bit of... Everybody's got a donkey around here.
Yeah, but did that sound like a donkey to you?
No.
Donkey is like, you know, that doesn't sound. That sound, first thing I thought could be was a bear, but bears don't keep vocalizing like that. Bears are very quiet usually. They go about their business. They knock over their garbage cans. They do all that stuff in total quiet. They don't make noise. So for a bear to make a noise like that, it would have to be wounded or something. And even then, that noise, well, it just doesn't sound like a noise that a bear would make, but that was the only thing that came to my mind. Or maybe a moose in rut. But still, it's compelling. And he's heard lots of noises back in there. He's heard growling, and he said he's seen a Sasquatch. So with that recording, let me just tell you briefly his experience. Unfortunately, he gets off work late, or I would have him tell his story. But he was out about noon. He went back to the trailer to pick something up from work. He works not far away. Went out behind the trailer to take care of some business, and he noticed a bright light up in the woods behind his house. And he thought, is that the sun, or is that the sun reflecting on something? But where the bright light was, there's a mountain behind it. So it was not the sun coming through, and there's nothing back in there to reflect sunlight. It's all woods. There's no old metal wreckage or whatever. So he's watching this white light, and it was so bright it caught his attention. Then he saw movement near the light, and he thought, who is that? So he kind of squatted down and was focusing his eyes on the movement. Then he saw movement again in the trees, and then he said, I saw a black orangutan face looking back at me. That's the best way he could describe it. And he said, I can't tell you where it was exactly because I've gone and squatted where he was watching from. And he's like, I can't remember if it was that tree or that tree, pointing up the hill a little ways. He has a big pond in the back of the property there. He said it looked just like a black orangutan. And it's curious that he saw what he saw there. Then he hears all these vocalizations. And he heard vocalizations before he saw what he saw. Growling. More than once he's heard growling coming from that side, that hillside going up from on the other side of the pond. And I went over there and walked the property a little bit with him yesterday, or not yesterday, a few days back, a couple of weeks back actually. And looked for tracks, didn't find any, but hoping to go back at night and see what happens. See if we get the same vocalizations that we just listened to.
Yeah. I'm going to play something real quick.
Yeah,
right?
let me hear
this is
what you got.
This one's going to be a moose sound. Close, but not.
Close. I mean, it's close.
A little more throaty. But
That could be, though. I mean,
you got a cow sound. You got that calf sound.
That's a cow?
Sound. No, it's a moose, but you got that cow
there
kind
you
of
go.
noise.
That kind of roar. That could be it. That could be a moose that we've been listening to.
All right, and just because I have heard, I started looking into that because I'm pretty sure we've had deer around here, like when the baby's away from the mom, it kind of makes that same noise. Let's see if this won't do it.
Do it again.
It's just a deer in the street, and everybody's trying to get it to make noise. But
Is there any way we can play the moose you just played me and then our sound right after each
other? You hear that?
Yeah, that I've heard.
Okay, that's a deer.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll go back to the moose real quick
And then play our sound again.
So I'm going to play this one more time.
That's the moose.
It's a good recording of it.
It is.
All right. Now I'm going to go back and pull up the other file. It just disappeared on me. Hold on a second. And I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Right?
Could be a moose. Could be a cow.
Sounds very...
It's enough similar that it could be a moose. I'll give you that. I need to ask him if he's ever seen any moose back in there.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's been some. I mean, we get all sorts of stuff over here. I mean, that's not that far away.
It's not that far.
Yeah, there it is again. And they have a water source, too.
And there's a pond there.
They like to hang out.
So that's worth... I'll ask him about that because hearing... But here's what I love is that people are sending files and saying, what is this sound? I've never heard this sound before. And it never hurts to record it on whatever recording device you have and send it to us.
And we're not saying that it is a moose or anything
I'm not saying
like
it's
that.
a moose. We're just looking... We try to rule out any natural explanation before we say, yeah, that could be Sasquatch. So...
I mean, it still could be.
It still could be, but it sounds similar enough to a moose in the rut that I would give you that it could very well be a moose. So,
And, you know, same size, same kind of vocalization types. Could be even an elk. I've seen elk run around here before, and they're in rut right now too, right?
They are. So, yeah, it's an interesting question, and hopefully you've heard over the season that we try not to take anything immediately at face value. We try to explore other explanations. I don't ever want to be the guy who's like, oh, that is 100% Sasquatch. No, it could be other things as well. The only reason I would know it was 100% Sasquatch is if we recorded him while we're watching them make a noise.
And that doesn't explain the growling you described either.
No, the growling could, yeah. And he's heard the growling for several weeks now, long before the rut began. So,
and you know what? This is the area actually where that poor boy got attacked.
Not far from where the lion attacked that kid in Berlin, here in Bailey.
You know, Department of Wildlife on the trail cam the next day caught 3 other that walked by, which
that
is
just
super
tells
weird.
you. Well, it's surprising that we haven't had more kids attacked up till now.
Well, you know, a mountain lion's range, its
huge.
territory is like 125 square miles. So the fact that there's 5 of them hanging out together, that's...
And one of them attacked a kid. Any of them could attack a kid.
Yeah.
So,
And we were talking about this off camera. I mean, off mic about kind of remind me, because it was 2 boys, kind of remind me of the 2 lions that Ghost in the Darkness was based on.
Which were true historic lions. They just added Hollywood to the movie.
Oh, they're bouncing around, right? The actual stuffed lions are.
They're in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the actual stuffed ones. They were maneless male lions, which is kind of bizarre, but they looked like lionesses, but they were not. They were male lions without manes.
And it turned out they were doing it because men's flesh was softer and they had toothaches. They had tooth problems.
Well, and they were, they figured out that men were easy to catch compared to chasing down a gazelle. So.
But so
Anyway.
I mean, you're still heading out there though on the property.
Yeah, so we had something interesting happen. We went out with another three guests actually, to visit the gifting site. They were recording John and I for their podcast, and so they had the mics on us, and they were just recording kind of our improv talking as we were climbing up to our gifting site.
And were these like good mics? You know.
I don't know. I mean,
did they look decent?
You're the guy that knows mics. So anyway, we got up to our gifting site, which is on a ridge straight up the side of the mountain, and no one else would know it's there. If you didn't walk with us up there, you'd never know the site was there. But down below the gifting site, the ground drops off very steep into a ravine, and the bottom of the ravine is maybe 30 feet down, and then it comes back up the other side. So it's kind of if you ever have seen, it's like ravine after ravine after ravine, and we're on the ridge between two ravines. So anyway, one of the guests looks down the hill and says, "What are those things down there?" And we look down, and sure enough, there's looks like two toys down the bottom. So I climb down in there, and they are two of the horses that we had put out at the gifting site probably 2 years ago. And all of a sudden, these horses are there right below the gifting site. One of them was wooden, just the bust of the horse that had been chewed on by something, and one was plastic. The plastic one was inside an old hollow tree stump, like it had been placed there. There's no way those toys went from the gifting site down to the bottom there on their own. It's too far. If any object falls off the rock that we put it on, it's going to fall onto the ground at the bottom of the rock. And
so hail or wind, nothing.
No,
like that
nothing's going to make it go down, and certainly nothing's going to the little horse bust was actually stuck under a rock at the bottom of that ravine, and this plastic horse was in a hollowed out log, clean like it had just been put there, as clean as when we left it there 2 years ago.
Huh? So you're guessing that it was there the whole time?
No,
it was
no, it wasn't. I think it was placed there, and we had not seen it yet. And it had been a little while since we had been out to the site. So I just find it interesting that objects that we have put out that have been taken show up again nearby.
Any chance of hair or anything like that by it?
Did we have a hair trap? I don't think we did. But all you need to try to collect hair is put tape, either double-sided tape or regular tape, backwards around a tree or something.
And that's a hair trap?
And that's a hair trap. So that, and you have to give them a reason to lean against the tree. Either you put some bacon or something up in the tree so that they lean against the tape, and then when they step back, it leaves their hair attached. We've not actually tried that at our gifting site, so we didn't see any hair. They're amazingly careful when they do things to not leave any trace, except the fact that they have manipulated stuff that's there. So these two horses show up after almost 2 years of being gone, and so we took them back with us, and both John and I are thinking, that's interesting. Why did they bring them back? And why didn't they bring them back to the actual gifting site instead of leaving them nearby with the chance that we would find them or not find them? But they were both white. Both of these little toy horses were white. So it's hard to miss something like that when you're looking into an environment that's just greens and browns and anything artificial or plastic just stands out immediately. So that was bizarre. I can't explain that one. So somebody brought toys back that had been taken, and
somebody or something.
Something. So, and to our knowledge, no person who we don't know or don't trust implicitly has been there. So they don't. No one else would find this site purely by chance. There's no trail that goes there. It's bushwhacking at its best. So I'm not concerned that it's a human who's found out what we're doing up there. I don't think anyone would find it. I don't think anyone would have a reason to climb up straight up the side of the mountain when there's no trail there to follow.
Wow.
So
I mean, that is pretty weird, man. Like, how'd he get there? Underneath
how
the
to
log?
get there?
It's
Under
not
a
like-
rock and inside a hollow log.
Like, and hauled log. Like, people think hauled log out in the woods. Of course, they're everywhere, but that really isn't the truth. Like, you don't see
No.
them that often when you're
No.
walking around.
With a perfect flat spot in the middle that you could put a toy or something where it would be seen. You could stick it on a hollow log where it's hidden and we would never know it was there. This was placed there, looked to me like it wanted us to see this thing in the hollow log. It was so. In fact, I'll show you a picture and you can tell me what you think when you look.
Hey, we'll be sure to
At
put that up on the website too.
We
to send
will.
that over.
This is the picture. Okay, let me find. Give me a second here. I'll show you
And yeah, like
what you think.
the woods. People don't. Unless you're out here and you stand there for a while, people don't understand how vast these woods are too.
Yeah, they are.
So like
vast.
stumbling on something like that is pretty much like finding a needle in a haystack,
Yeah. And the curious thing is that something took this stuff and something brought it back. I just want to see what you think when you look at this. Okay, that's one. Where's the hollow?
Okay. So it is a very big hollowed out kind of log, and it's wow. So the horse is laying in there again. Please
Right in the middle.
check out the podcast website so you can see the picture as well. Man, that is weird. I don't know.
And then the other horse is
Now, we
stuck
talked about-
under a rock.
The horses before too, that they actually seem to like them a lot.
Well,
More
they
than anything.
take them. They don't throw them down like they seem to do with toy dogs. So before I leave, Josh, I'm going to send these to you so you can
Good deal, and we'll
put them on
definitely
the website.
And you'll see them on. You should. I'll try to put them in the podcast too on the video.
So anytime that we have some evidence or a photo that goes with what we're talking about, we'll always try and put that on the site so you guys can see what we're talking about.
All right, folks. Well, we're coming to the end now, and you know what? We really want to hear your input on whether you think that was actually a Bigfoot noise
Yep.
or some sort of animal. And you can put that in the comments, or you can hit us at our inbox on the website there.
And we'd love to get your reviews. All the 5-star reviews we get really help promote us.
And it helps with the algorithm to put us in the search so you guys can
Yep.
find us a little easier, or your friends can. So I guess that's it for today. Always remember, please subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever you found us or wherever you heard us. The subs really help. And until next time.
You don't know Squatch.